I love that. A beautiful can opening sound effect to get the show underway because we are going to open several cans of worms this week on the Wheelhouse podcast. Kate Bates, did you see what I did there?
It wasn't a sound effect though. I'm just popping my
actual can.
My San Pellegrino.
Your San Pelli.
Yes, sounds a little bit snobby.
A little posh, isn't it? There's just good old tap water out there, but that's okay. That's all right.
I've been watching the Victoria Beckham, David Beckham documentary.
Good doco.
Speaking of posh, so, you know.
They've stolen our ideas.
They have.
That's all right. This is the Wheelhouse Podcast, episode 81, just like that. Can you believe it? My name's Joel Spreadborough. Kate Bates is here. Henk Vogels is in the house as well. DJ Henk, I'm going to say, wearing very, very stylish sunglasses today, my friend.
Well, they actually are prescription, and I can't see without them.
We've got to start.
But I do feel like a rapper.
Printing above 10-point font. I've been saying it to Merckxy for months, but we'll get to it. It's
we'll turn the A4 one down into an A3 one just for you, and then we'll get the dark sunnies off.
There's
100%.
a lot to talk about today. I said episode 81, but the number 50 has a little bit of relevance today's show as well, and I'm going to stop talking about it now because it makes me so damn angry. You're going to find out why a little bit later. There's some Aussies that have been doing extraordinary things. It seems like that's just a week-to-week thing for us because Aussies are awesome, let's be honest.
They are. I mean, this week particularly good. But I don't know, maybe we can turn it into a whole season worth. What do you reckon?
100%. It's going to happen.
Yeah, big
Always
season
happens.
for the Aussies.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm not going to say comebacks, but just something that's got Merckxy excited. You'll have to stick around and hear about it as well. Kate has another wonderful bit of bike kit to showcase for you as well. And guess what? Another big name has jumped on social media. You're not going to believe it. It's all happening here on the Wheelhouse Podcast. Catherine, firstly, Hank and I were asking, we were just chatting before, it's like, is there etiquette when you're with an official ambassador? Do we need to bow? Do we need to wait for you to speak before we speak? Or how does this all work? Because you had some big news during the week.
Yes, you can now refer to me as Ambassador Bates.
Ambassador.
Ambassador. And you can curtsy if you like.
Oh, good. I told you, Hank.
I can't physically do that.
A bow will suffice.
All that.
Is that because of the years
I
in
bow
the
down
saddle?
to no one.
Yeah, it's heavens. Actually, that's true, and that's fair. No, thank you, Joel. But you can call me Ambassador Kate, or just the Ambassador. I was announced as the official ambassador of the Brisbane Cycling Festival.
Amazing.
So, little clap to myself. I'm very, very honoured. Yeah, very honoured to do it. So we had a lovely little photo shoot. Took the kids along and had also some ladies from Sisters of the Saddle and Chicks Who Ride Bikes to come along and support, which was absolutely sensational. Got Merckxy to sit down and take a nice little family pic with us too.
That's awesome.
And I'm very pleased to say he was wearing the Wheelhouse T-shirt.
Good.
So representing us all.
Check that out.
Lovely.
In his T-shirt. Look at that.
There you go.
Smiling mob that we are.
Geez, you scrub up well, Merckxy.
Thank you, mate.
But yeah, it's a real honour. It's a fantastic festival, Australia's largest cycling festival. It runs for 6 weeks, starts with the Aussie Track Nationals, and we're going to get some of our Olympic hopefuls on show there. So that's really cool. And it finishes with the Tour of Brisbane. And incidentally, the family ride is now on sale there. We did it last year.
We did, yeah.
The 10K.
Still have sore glutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be doing Tour of Brisbane again next year. So I'm really hoping that we can get a bit of a crew to come along and join us. So we'll be building up to that over the next few weeks. But what I'm most excited about, and Hank, you've been to the festival in a lot of capacities.
Yep.
Top of my list at the moment, aside from all the serious business, is Sisters of the Saddle are planning what they're calling an ergo disco.
Mm-hmm.
So they're putting a whole heap of trainers' bikes in a room with disco balls and dance music, and they're pretty much having a party on bikes. I mean, that ticks all the boxes for me.
Isn't that just like going to F45 but at night with the or not?
Well, no, F45 don't have bikes. They've got, all those funny exercises.
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw
Yeah.
a beer keg around and
Peloton.
Or Peloton, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Peloton, but yeah, I like it.
Either way,
Disco
I mean,
balls.
they've been disco balls. They've been throwing around the ideas of margarita slushies. So let's just
Okay, great.
Okay. So like a beer run, really. I mean, like, beer pub crawl kind of thing?
Well,
But just with margaritas and disco balls.
and in one room. So kind of not like a pub crawl at all, but I like what you're thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Hank, you could wear those sunnies to the disco.
Yeah, I've got to see it.
Yeah.
Don't I?
If he wants to get through the door without tripping over, then yes, he probably will wear them. But Kate,
Yeah, but I probably will be blind because I am blind.
Yeah.
Like I can't see.
and not a margarita to be seen.
So
That's what I meant.
it will be a literal panic at the disco if
there you
the puns
go.
if
have
he
started
doesn't have his
already.
glasses
Oh,
on.
you're on
Puns
fire.
have
So
started.
we can
Ambassador.
have fun. Well, I've actually today worn a very glitzy shirt. It's
Yep.
got sequins, gold, black, white, sequins all over it.
Black and gold.
So do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Very festival-y kind of vibe.
Yeah, feeling it early.
Yeah.
Get the lollipops and the glow sticks out. It'll all be happening. We'll put a crew together. A
Yeah.
wheelaton, not a peloton, a wheelaton. I don't know.
I don't, there's a lot happening. I mean, we'll keep you updated
Yep.
along the journey. We're not going to dump the program all on you now, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is indeed. Look, in all seriousness, congratulations, Ambassador. It's a huge and a very well deserved. And you know
Thank
what?
you.
It cements your status as a Brisbaneite. So welcome to
thank
the
you.
fabulous
Thank you.
Southeast.
Yes. I did say in our lovely city.
Yes.
You did.
So there you go.
Didn't go unnoticed either.
On a serious note, though, about the Brisbane Cycling Festival, where in Australia can you shut down a capital city and put a bike race on roads completely closed?
Yeah.
Family, get on the road, shut down. You couldn't do that anywhere else in Australia.
No,
So
it's
that is
fantastic.
really cool.
Yeah. And
Very
Great.
get the kids over the Story Bridge again.
Yeah, some great. Look,
On
new
the bike.
bridge open too. The beautiful Breakfast Creek Green Bridge is open. I did it the other day.
It's
It's
all
a
happening.
great way to cut down your travel time to the pub. It's excellent. The Breakfast Creek Hotel there. It was just fantastic. Really positive stuff.
Love it. Very
Yeah.
positive.
On the Wheelhouse podcast. So let's look through the week that was. Catherine, you're particularly excited. Just another big week for Australia, basically.
It has been. Yes. I've got a little bit of a wrap here. I mean, in the most excellent news, the Aussies have absolutely been kicking butt.
Can I pause you for a sec? Because I feel like we need to do this more. I think we need to wrap our arms around this and do it properly. Merckxy, can you
Okay.
find Kate just on the one shot, nice tight sort of mid-shot
yep.
news frame for us? Can we do this officially? Have we got some music, Luke?
Okay. All right.
Okay. It's Catherine Bates with Wheelhouse News.
In excellent news this week, the Australians have been kicking butt. We started at the Tour of Oman, where Caleb won the first stage. Now, this is the first UCI win of the season and only the second in the last 12 months. In the last 18 months, it's only been 3 wins, so they've been a bit thin on the ground. Now, he said he was very excited to win because it gave him the confidence that he could deliver, not just for himself, but also for the new team, Team Jayco Alula. Meanwhile, over at the BMX track, Saya Sakakibara, she has won the first and the second round of this year's World Cup, BMX World Cup. This brings her win run to 5 in a row, so she is beautifully placed for the Paris Olympics. But more than that, the next round is in Australia, in Brisbane, on the 24th and 25th of February. So get out amongst that. Now, more good news, guys. Ben Glutzy O'Connor, he has won, and he won with a breakaway in the Vuelta a Murcia. Now, it's the earliest victory he's ever had in the season.
Wow.
Good signs, right?
Indeed.
So he'll be focusing on the Giro 100%, not confirmed if he's going to the Tour yet. But good news for him. If we head back to the UAE, 21-year-old Neve Bradbury, who won Zwift Academy a couple of years ago, the young Aussie, she was second on the Queen's stage. But this was pretty important for her because it's the first time she's really stepped up at World Tour level to be on the podium. What was also amazing about that stage, it finished on a 10-kilometre climb, and it was won by Lotte, who is now being described, guys, as the most versatile rider in the peloton, male or female. Road 100%. World champion as a sprinter, track world champion, and now winning up the climbs. So we've also got Remco. He took a victory at the Figueira Champions Classic. Mark Cavendish took a victory at the Tour of Colombia. It's been a very big week all around for the big names.
Catherine
And
Bates,
it's a wrap.
Thank you very much. Your news first. Well, several days after it breaks, only on the Wheelhouse podcast.
Yes.
Wait, hold on a sec. Oh, sorry, some breaking news here. I'm just going to go to the bunker inside the bunker. Merckxy, what have you got for us?
Well, we've clearly missed the biggest news of the week, Catherine Bates.
sorry, my report was quite comprehensive.
Yeah,
Oh,
except
what's happening?
Peter Sagan rode his first mountain bike race for real for Specialised Factory Racing.
Is that
Back to you.
is that our standard now? We're reporting on who starts race. He didn't win.
That's not news.
Hang on.
He didn't even podium.
He's done, isn't he? Oh, that's right. Sorry, mate.
Have some respect, you three. Anyway, there you go. Peter Sagan back on the mountain bike, first official race.
Okay.
That is news,
so
Fogles.
my new segment is the news. Merckxy's new segment is, what did Peter Sagan do this week?
Sagan rap. Turning to finance, and let's have a look at the revenue streams from the Peter Sagan Resort for the last weekend as well. I think we can find lots of angles with Peter Sagan. So thank you, Merckxy.
Yes.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Lot
I
of
am
love.
the executive producer, just reminding you both.
Actually, yeah.
I've
You
just
cut us
noted
all
that
cut us all out.
on the rundown. Yeah.
Sorry, Luke. Okay, now please, if you were paying attention to the cycling media cycle, there you go. This week, you might have heard this little grab.
It's completely different. It's kind of like as if it's junior or under 23 racing now. There's sort of less
Right,
respect
everyone's
for
just
each other as
pinned,
well.
yeah,
It's like
Is that
everyone just
really?
like goes where they want, chopping each other up a bit. Whereas before you'd fight for position, but it'd be a bit more calm. Whereas now it's just bonkers, and that respect and sort of that hierarchy in the peloton. Not that was, it kind of was a good thing, but like in a certain way. But now it's just every man for himself, dog eat dog, which you just got to join them, haven't you? Really?
Get stuck in.
Yeah.
Okay, now two quick points. Firstly, that was Geraint Thomas. We know GT. We know the voice very well. Secondly, those bloody podcasts where the hosts always talk over each other and talk so much shit. Geez, they get me. Anyway, second point. Was he talking about professional cycling or the beer queue down at the local?
Yeah, well, I actually listened a couple of times to this because, and Hank, I'm super curious on your take on this, but he went on to say it used to be more chilled, but these days it's basically full on from kilometre zero from the start to the end. It's 4 or 5 hours of concentration. You used to be able to have a chat with your mates, but now you're in the zone. I'm sorry, this is a bike race, and it seems like he's suggesting there's less respect because people are wanting to race from kilometre zero.
Well, that's always been the case. Like, in every single race you do. I actually think, and Merckxy's going to love this, though, there used to be, back in the day, there used to be matriarchs, like 4 blokes that would control pelotons. Like Chippo used to get to the front, the Giro, and put his arms out like an albatross. And if you went past, he'd ping you with a water bottle in the head. And
Hold on, what do you mean ping with a water bottle in the
Throw a
head?
full water bottle at you and hit you while you were attacking up the road because they wanted to have an easy first hour. Now, that's Chippo, and he may be in jail, not sure.
He's certainly on charges, I believe.
Somewhere there. But anyway, so you've got to have those like matriarchs, the bosses in the bunch. Maybe there's not enough bosses. Because
Hold
there's
on.
always been young bucks coming and attacking in every race.
But what's wrong with attacking? It's a bike race. Why do you need
Correct.
a boss?
But I think he's talking about like in longer stage races, because every one day race is completely like that from start to finish. So for us, it's just, I think it's the 3-week fatigue and, okay, mate, let's have an easy day. We just rode 7 hours yesterday. So, get everyone kind of calm for the first hour. But that brings me back to how young the age of the peloton is now.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of big points there. Maybe, the bosses aren't being the bosses, and maybe the age is getting younger.
Can I ask one question? Isn't this brought up every year? I've only been around the sport for a few years, but it seems to be on a little bit of a loop. Is that always been the case, or is it just these bloody kids these days, ruining everything?
Well,
You hear
good
it a lot.
question. You hear it a lot, but I thought, I'd type into Google, I typed in, there's no respect in the peloton. And 2015, 2016, 2018, 2022 was Merckxy, your boy, Peter Sagan,
Yep.
saying there's no respect anymore. In 2021 and 2023, Michael Matthews
There you go,
had a
yeah.
few headlines. Rigoberto Urán
Yep.
back in 2016. He's about to retire. Good on him. We wish him luck. He said there's no respect. So I'm just curious as to what they mean by respect.
Is it respect your elders? Is it like, because at the end of the day, it's highly competitive. Yeah.
Is it etiquette?
It's always the older guys that say it. You
Yeah.
hear young blokes coming out and say, "Oh, they don't respect when they attack me." You know, like it's always the older guys who are saying. And G's a legend, right? Like he's one of the most popular people in world cycling. 100%. G is a legend, and of all things, podcast. He's like loved by everyone in the peloton, and he is respected. So it's kind of weird he's saying it, because maybe the respect is they're chopping his wheel coming into a climb, or they're just attacking. Because if it's just attacking from the start, then he's got an issue.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean,
But maybe it's the other one.
Yeah, I think if it's respect around safety and positioning, absolutely.
Yeah,
you
sure.
need to have that respect. If it's more etiquette around they attack too early or they lose me there. Because even though
100%.
it may be people like Cipollini and his albatross arms and his sprinter legs wanting an easier day, it's sport. Like if the only way you can win is by attacking from kilometre zero, then I say good on you. You've
Well,
been
the public
paid.
wants that. The public wants to see the attacking
Yes.
racing.
Yeah.
They
You know.
yeah.
I mean,
So-
I think he must be talking about the older generation, with longer stage races after they've just done monster stages, and then you've got a 56 kilo Colombian going from kilometre zero up a climb.
Yeah.
But
Like,
that's his chance
no
to
one-
win.
Exactly.
So you're a DS. You'd get one of your 56 kilo athletes to attack if it meant that was their chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There's 25 different reasons why you attack. Television, he's got a chance to win. KOM jersey. You know, the young bloke has been told he lost his contract yesterday by the DS, and he wants to get a stage win. He's fighting for his life. You know, you've got blokes like Geraint Thomas who are earning millions of dollars a year. Shouldn't probably be complaining.
Yeah, well, we like you say, love GT, and he's massively popular.
He's a legend,
the
absolute
world over.
legend.
So
Legend.
people listen when he talks. But if he had, I guess, a better year potentially, is it one of those things where if you have a lot of wins, you're like, oh, I love it, everyone's so respectful and beautiful. But, when
But
you
he's
lose,
he's had a great career. I don't think he's had a bad year.
yeah,
He's a superstar of the sport.
keeps
I
on
mean,
coming. Yeah,
the guy runs second in the Giro last year. Like, how old is G? I mean, he's not a spring chicken.
He'd be pushing 40.
Merckxy.
He reckons he's still cracking his own PBs. It's 38.
Legend.
Yeah, unreal.
Love that. That's fantastic. So,
can do it.
etiquette, modern cycling. You hear about this. There's so many good examples in sport. I just want to quickly throw back to the Ashes last year for the cricket and that stumping. That stumping that Alex Carey did on Johnny Bairstow, the English wicketkeeper, that set the world on fire.
Unreal.
And all of a sudden, it was an absolute international scandal of epic proportions. But when England got back into that series and levelled it up, it was like, you know what, it happens. And then recently over in India, the same thing happened in their most recent series against India. So that's why I'm asking, is it a fair and foul weather thing where it's like if you're just not enjoying yourself? But you make a really good point on GT in particular. It's just that this comes up every year. So where's the place for etiquette?
Oh, I think, in my view, if you attack when someone's in the yellow jersey and they've fallen,
Yeah.
etiquette says that you don't attack then. And that's actually sportsmanship because you want to win the race in a clean and fair fashion.
No one does it.
So you shouldn't do that. Like, that would be lacking respect. But attacking at kilometre zero or making it a really hard race,
Yeah.
that is not lacking respect. That's trying to win
Yeah.
in the way that you can win.
We've seen it, haven't
you can
we?
differentiate, I think.
For sure. We've seen big crashes where people have literally gone over the side of the road. Like, are they okay? We don't know. Cut back to the peloton. Bugger it, let's go.
But then there's the middle of the road where Demi Vollering stops for a pee break while wearing the leader's jersey, but at a terrible time, and the bunch does keep riding, and they say that's a lack of respect, and the rest are like, well, no, go to the toilet before the race or choose your time. So that's not the same as a fall. So there is a bit of grey area.
Big difference between attacking and just riding the same speed you're riding. You
That-
don't.
yeah.
You do not
Yeah.
wait for people in a bike race.
We
No.
know we love you, Demi, but we do not want to ride in your slipstream. Absolutely guaranteed.
Or downwind. Oh no, that's right. That's the men's.
The Wheelhouse podcast, we're talking about respect and etiquette. I feel it's a good forum to do that. It really is because, geez. Look, really, really interesting. But that was said on the Red Bull Just Ride podcast. So obviously, you know, we'd get some, you know, a couple of jabs out there and whatnot. It's always good for likes and shares. Once again, not a theory we follow here at the Wheelhouse at all, but it's always an interesting topic as well. And I think it goes both ways, because when you mentioned Demi, I'm glad you did, because we saw a couple of, you know, within her own team, with a couple of other riders last year, a couple of incidents that were like, gee whiz, you're such a killer. Does that go the other way when you've got a dominant champion who's basically face-palming teammates and opponents as well?
Oh, look, it's clickbait, it's content.
Isn't it?
If nothing else.
Yep. Okay, it's the Wheelhouse podcast, and things are about to get very angry here, because this week, Catherine, a list was released. It's a new thing. They're doing it on the internet these days, bringing out a list. It's called the Top 50 Influential People in Australian Cycling. 50 of the most influential people in Australian cycling. And the byline is shining a spotlight on the important work of a few. And I'll highlight that, a few. Just a few. I have one...
A few?
How many is a few?
Well, can I say, for a list that's billed as a top 50, I might be wrong here, but there's only 49 on the list. Because I just want to ask you, Kate, just really quickly, before we really get into this, you've introduced me to a lot of wonderful cyclists over the years. You've helped me as best you can pronounce their names and all sorts of things. But I've never heard of... I know there are others I've overlooked or missed. Where's he or she from?
Yes, I don't know the etymology of that name.
That's number 50 on the list, yeah.
Oh, 50, that's right down the bottom.
Right.
Does it even count?
But that's the other thing. It says in no particular order.
Oh, yes, but then you put it in an order by putting numbers on it.
Yes,
So
exactly.
there is an order.
Okay, so let's get to the bottom of this list. Okay, so this list came out. Wade Wallace, look, hello to you, and good on you. Salute for your wonderful work. And putting a list like this together is a thankless task. Let's be completely honest. People are never, ever going to agree. My one question is, how is Merckxy not on the list? Is that what we're all thinking?
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, in fairness, it might be a thankless task, but it's one he set himself.
He did. He took it upon himself too. That's the thing.
So, you know. Look, there are 48 incredible names. 49 is the volunteers who run the sport. And
Sure.
I'm all over that. I mean, you just can't name all of them. They're really the backbone. If it was in an order, I think they definitely belong at number one. But I suppose one of the questions I had is, how are we defining influential? Because to me, if this is influential, one of the biggest names missing off the list is Catherine Whelan from SBS, who single-handedly is responsible for the vast majority of cycling broadcast in Australia.
And has fought
especially
very
the international.
hard. Yep.
And has fought very hard for that. So if we're talking about influence, I would say she's pretty influential.
Yeah, good call.
And on that front, I would say also Dr. Bridie O'Donnell,
Yes.
who is the first ever female commentator of the Tour de France. I would say that there's some influence in that. She also has held very senior government positions in sport, in advocating, on ABC radio in Melbourne. So again, from an influence point of view, I would say that she's a pretty big hitter.
Yep. Hank?
Oh, listen, there's some great names on there. There's no doubt. And like you said, it's a thankless job doing this list because you're going to miss so many people. But for me, it's very Melbourne-centric. And also, I did have a look on there, and I don't reckon clothing manufacturers make the top 50. Clothing manufacturers, maybe the top 50 most profitable, but maybe not the most influential.
Yeah.
How many hailed from the West Coast on the list? If you say Melbourne-centric.
You know, like the won the Giro, won stage in the Tour de France last year.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hindley. Joe
Sam
Hindley
Welsford.
won.
Ben O'Connor.
None of those
right.
two.
So glad you
two
brought
are
up
on it.
Glutzy. Yeah.
None of those
Where is
two are on
Glutzy?
Matty Richardson. He's going to win an Olympic gold medal. Oh, no.
There wasn't too many trackies
Hindley.
except Scott McStory.
Yeah.
on
Oh,
there.
well.
Scott is in there, yeah.
Scotty
I
got
don't
a
know the
start.
last
Well-deserved,
time he rode
sure.
a track bike, but it's been a while.
Okay.
Back in 2020. But again, deserved. He's got a
100%.
great patch of
There's some
influence
good names
with
on
what he
there, but
does,
there's a
so-
lot.
Of course.
I mean, it's a bit one-eyed. Sorry.
Probably would have put
Come on.
our
The
mate
top 50
Rupert.
Melbourne. Oh,
Top
Probably
50
would have
Melbourne
Rupert
people.
Guinness
mate.
on there. Do you
that's
think?
a good call,
Yeah,
Merckxy.
good on you,
Yes,
Merckxy.
Yeah.
100%.
Seriously? Like,
Yeah, Roop's
Yeah.
not been there. Like, he was, how many Tour de France's has he covered?
Oh. And because he goes across sports and
All
he
sports,
brings
yeah.
the influence to certainly newspapers and outlets that normally wouldn't cover cycling.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob Arnold, he's not on there.
Yeah, Rob Arnold and Ride Magazine. I mean, they've done some pretty incredible things.
Forever. Yeah, since like mid-90s.
Yeah, I mean, yes, long list.
Well, you're not on there, Kate.
No.
I'm not on there.
We're not on there.
We don't get a start.
Joel.
Look, I did make it, but I rang him and said, take me off, guys. It'll cause chaos.
Because
You
you knew
should
you were going to
be.
get
Taken
slaughtered
off.
on this podcast.
Oh, no. Please. I have to turn up tomorrow. But
I think Joel and Merckxy should be best new talent.
we're on a duo, Merckxy. But you know
Yeah.
what? There's some due recognition of beautiful names, have done beautiful things and continue to. I don't know if it's in ranking order, but Anna Meare's number 40. I don't know. No particular order. Come on.
Well, when you put Jerry Ryan up there, who's the most influential person,
Yeah.
that kind of sets the benchmark.
Yeah.
So you go Jerry Ryan, Peter Mullins.
Yep.
Oh, hang on. Where's that coming
Where's
from?
that popping from?
Where's that coming
It's,
from?
yeah, and I think
Not bagging
everybody-
Peter.
No,
But
no.
I'm just saying Jerry Ryan, Peter Mullins, number 1 and 2. Okay.
Well, for influence, I mean, if you also look at someone like Bronwyn Victor, who runs Sisters of the Saddle,
Thank
who's
you.
just her community has raised so much money
Yep.
for people affected by domestic violence in particular. There, to me, like the influence on the sport, but also the influence on the broader community, it's almost exhaustive.
I'm so glad you
Be.
said that, because that's one of the beautiful things about this sport is this ability to broaden that reach. And whether or not you're an enthusiastic or elite cyclist, it is a cause you can get behind by the very nature that it's done in a bunch. It's a sport that brings people together. And Bronwyn and her team, Jordana and her team, are great examples of people who are using the power and the positive energy of it to raise literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year for incredible causes.
Yeah,
That's
well-
recognition that should be acknowledged. I'm not saying by this particular
No.
article, but in general.
But I mean, Jordana Blackman, it's the only women-specific cycling app in the world with Llama. So that's pretty
Huge.
cool. I would
And
say
your-
that's pretty influential
your-
in the...
Nicks, your llama nicks. You wouldn't have them if it wasn't for Jordana.
I know, and I'm very thankful for that.
I
Anyway,
reckon we should talk about who is Escape Collective. Kate, you probably should mention.
Oh, Escape Collective. I mean, they're the mob that were Cycling Tips.
Yep.
And Wade sold that company, and it essentially got gutted, and they were all devastated, and the community was devastated. And so they rebuilt with Escape, and I love what they've done. And I think Johnny Long is our favourite there. He always writes, and Shoddy Dave Everett, he always writes some crackers. So they're a really cool and eclectic bunch of guys, and Matt Deneef is another one of them, and they're out of Melbourne. So
they
maybe
get a
that's
start?
why it's Melbourne-centric.
Did they get a start on the
No,
50?
they actually, you know what? Like, Johnny and Shoddy Dave and Matt Deneef probably influence half our run sheet.
yeah,
most
let's be
weeks.
honest. Shout out.
Yeah, let's put them on
Hey,
there.
look, guys, you're on our list. Mike Tomalaris. No, I'm not signing up.
Ah.
Sorry, not
Oh, there were a few people who weighed in the comments and said, he might not be now, but over the years,
Yeah.
look what he's done. So there's,
Bringing cycling
it
to-
has to
yeah.
be so very specific if you're going to go down the rabbit hole, and maybe that's what Wade was trying to do, just throw a
He's
big old
trying to
cat
get some
amongst the
clicks, you
pinions.
reckon?
Oh, I think he
Yeah.
has, whether he meant to or not, but he's in the business of getting clicks.
True.
So,
Pat Shaw?
oh yeah, put Pat Shaw on there for what he's
yeah.
done. Sure.
I think
Surely
there's-
not.
there's-
Oh, wow.
Come on, I had to do one punt.
that was brilliant. Hank.
That
Taking the
came off
glasses
straight
off.
over the top of the head. Yeah, where's the drum? You got to do the drum.
Look,
I was happy to see Michael Drapak on there.
Yep.
And quick story about that one too, actually. He picked up one of my riders who crashed 7K into the Melbourne to Warrnambool the other day because his son, Pat, crashed. So, and he's literally got a lift in a cop car with my rider, Declan Trezise, and Pat back to the start, and then they went to the hospital. Like, Michael's put in 100 million. I reckon.
and speaking of,
Maybe double that over the 20 years. He never got the respect that Jerry Ryan gets. That
Yeah.
Michael's been our absolute. He's been a champion for our sport over the last 25 years.
yeah. And
Love
speaking
Michael.
of Melbourne to Warney, before we wrap this up, Karen Jones, the only female race
Exactly.
promoter in Australia, like she's
Still cranking out races.
still cranking out races.
Without them, we don't have a sport. Hey.
No.
Yeah, well said.
So is
well
it a
said.
shit list or is it a good list? I think it's a shit list.
Yeah, I'm.
I love it.
I'm just saying
Shit
it's
list.
a shit list. What they should do is
Ours
have a
would be a bit
poll.
different,
If they
but-
had a poll, people get to vote and contribute.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
You watch. I guarantee in 2 weeks that's going to be on the Escape Collective.
Yeah.
An official poll. Yep.
And
Righto, there's the shout out to them. Come
can
on,
I
fellas,
say,
up
if
it.
they're trying to get more people on their platform, this is a win for them.
Of course it is. And look, we all know that could absolutely have been the plan from the get-go. You said the expression, it's called clickbait. It creates argument, it creates debate, it creates interest. So good on them for spending the time doing it. There's a couple of sneaky extra mentions as well. Peter Mullins is joined by Kelvin Rundle in the 1 ranking in number 2. That's like, it's like saying Kate Bates is great. She's on the list. Merckxy also does well, and Henk does well, and I suppose Joel as well, all in one entry.
So there's really
deserve
117
your own.
people on this list.
There's really actually... I've just finished counting 727 in the top 50.
We've
There you
just
go.
added another 294.
You know what? We will come up with our own list, damn it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have a
All
list.
right.
Okay, I love it. So moving... Sorry. I was just trying to move on there. I did not mean to do that at all. Anyway, Kate, I have some... I have a consolation prize for you because you're in my list, my top 50. You've snuck in.
Right.
Now...
I can...
That combined with the ambassadorship, I'd like to present you with an official Brisbane welcome right now. If you're watching on at home, you can now see Catherine Bates being presented with her very own Brisbane Broncos jersey. Merckxy, can we get whatever sound effect you have that appropriately marks this?
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you.
Oh, hang on, sorry. Ambassador.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
Wait.
must curtsy when presenting anything.
We should actually get a Brisbane Broncos cycling kit made.
Well, here's
Would you sell
problem.
some here in Brizzy, you reckon?
I mean,
Like
I
that?
reckon you'd
look,
move
it's
a
a
few,
it's a
yeah.
I
lovely.
might get on a black sheep straight away.
Do it.
It's a lovely
Hey?
Brisbane
It's gotta be
Broncos
some licensing
jersey.
laws.
Okay, I love it. The small issue
Go on.
is that I'm a Parramatta Eels fan. So you can take the girl out of the West, but you can't take the West out of the girl. So
Yeah.
maybe a half and half.
You're the eel deal, aren't you?
I'm the eel deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
horsing around in here.
Yeah.
She's the eel deal, but we'll keep working on
Hold
it.
on,
But
what
you
is
know
the
what?
Brisbane Broncos? What's the horse's name?
Buck.
Buck. Right.
Yeah, Buck had to be retired a few times because he's so used to
No,
running laps
I-
because they score so many tries.
Did you just
Yeah.
Merckxy? Did you say for bucks?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I actually went to a Denver Broncos football match.
That is
Okay.
bucket list.
Well, because
And
we've both
when-
lived in Colorado, and
Yeah.
they are. Well, you arrive at the airport, and they have this
Yeah.
Bronco
Yeah.
up on hind legs. It's about 20 meters tall, isn't
Yeah.
it? With devil red eyes glowing.
Yeah.
It's
But
terrifying.
When they score a try, there is actually a Bronco that goes piss bolt straight down the field with some guy like on the back of it, like going full
In the
gas down.
middle of the field?
In the middle, and the Brisbane Lions, they were trying to get a lion.
Yeah,
That didn't go down real well.
that would have been a PR disaster. That one.
That one would have been. But no, seriously, the Broncos, they had a Bronco just a full length of the field straight after their try.
What do we think
incredible.
the Lions were going to do with the lion?
Well, they reckon there was going to be a lion guy with a big chain and stuff, and it was going to roar, and what are you going to do? Just zap it if it gets out of control.
Yeah.
I think
the Greens shut
Animal
over there real
welfare,
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
some concerns with that. Look, we could have a llama as our mascot.
We sure could.
Or a mini goat.
There you go. Yeah.
We've experienced those. And
No
they were
bad
quite
ideas.
Easy to.
A mini
Handle.
goat, they're so cute.
a mini
They
goat.
are so cute. Aw,
Baby
even
goats
you
are
think
cute.
mini goats are cute.
But like adult goats are so evil.
But mini
very,
goats.
very evil
are so
looking.
cute.
But yeah, they're cute. Like they jump,
Yeah.
the four-legged jump and sideways jump.
This has taken
love
an
those
awry
things.
turn, hasn't
All right.
it?
It sure
Yep.
has.
Back on track, you
okay.
three.
Oh,
We
right.
could get a duck too. There's
my
a
God.
condition where you feel that ducks are watching you, and that's a thing. We could play with that.
Duckophobia.
Yeah. Whoa! I thought it was a duck. Anyway, it's all good. Now, Catherine, on the Wheelhouse podcast, let's get back. Let's get out of the serious territory now and have a bit of fun. You have a bit of a penchant for bringing in items of value,
Shiny
items
things.
that are shiny and beautiful, and you've got another one
I
this week.
do. I do. I've got these. I've got two of these beautiful contraptions.
Yep.
I think Henk has one.
And Henk
I
has
can't
Are we
one.
stop-
making pizza?
I actually can't stop playing with these things. I've been
like a
playing
pizza
with it for the
cutter.
last half hour.
No, look,
It's
they
like
are
a fidget spinner.
CeramicSpeed
Yep.
derailleurs. And as I like a good deep dive, the CeramicSpeed balls, fellas, 400% smoother, these balls, 128% harder these balls
Hang on, we're
Where are
talking
the
about
balls?
than
Yeah.
steel.
Oh, ball
We're
bearings.
talking
Ball
ball
bearings.
bearings.
In the
yes,
jockey
In the
wheels,
jockey
yes.
wheels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harder than steel.
Yes, 128% harder than steel, 400% smoother.
Really?
These balls bearings.
Ball bearings.
And they have.
What are they, like made from Wolverine's claws or something?
Look, I don't know. All I know is they last 3 times longer than steel,
Yeah.
and that their frictional drag is far lower. Now, Hank, these are all wonderful numbers, and I like my bike to go fast. Do these?
They work.
Are they anything other than
No.
hype?
They're unreal. They work. So I used to sell these at Bike Bug when I was there 4 or 5 years ago. Used to sell a lot of them. They don't break and they're just faster. Mm-hmm. They're not cheap, but they work really well. And I mean, if you spin a normal jockey wheel on any road bike, it's going to go quarter of a turn, maybe 10 mil.
Yep.
This thing will go probably for 30 seconds. It just spins especially for time trials. If you're doing time trials and if you're really into that friction and drag stuff, then this is a great product.
So my understanding is that, firstly, you can get this beautiful aerodynamic shield on it, and everything counts. So we know that is a legitimate thing. But when it comes to the smoothness and the hardness of the ball bearings inside these jockey wheels, it makes it easier to pedal, essentially. Like you're saving a watt of effort because it's so smooth. Is that right?
Yeah. And then they also have like unbelievable wax and chain lubrication, which actually makes it even better.
Well, speaking of, they come with their own bearing pulley wheel oil.
Yeah.
In a little bottle.
Don't leave
So there
home
you go.
without some poly wheel oil.
No.
I think you mentioned expense too. I may as well drop the fact that at the moment these are 25% off.
They are 25% off. So
Yeah.
if you're keen, get on it. Save your money on the titanium screws in your bike, which people are all like, let's save weight on using those. Get yourself one of these. They're very cool.
They just don't break either. They're strong. Like they're well-made quality products. It's not a gimmick. They work well, and they obviously are not cheap, but you pay for speed.
Yep, fair enough.
They're more than just an expensive fidget toy.
Yeah.
But they make a very good fidget toy.
Can you?
I can't stop spinning it.
It's good to spin. We never do any spinning on this show. Can you cut a pizza with it, or is it best left for the bike?
I wouldn't.
Don't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
Don't compromise the product.
No, they're
Okay.
they're beautiful.
I mean, if you really had to, you
So there you
could.
go.
But
If you couldn't find anything else.
if you really had to, you could, but it'd be
Yeah.
be
I
expensive
mean,
one.
the standard pulley energy consumption is only 0.033 watts compared to 1.370 watts for
Wow.
steel. So there you go.
That's
well,
incredible.
Well,
Okay.
you work that over a 6-hour race, right?
Yeah. So it's legit.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, bikebug.com. And don't forget, Wheelhouse Special, of course, is also applying to other products. Just code WheelhouseAir will get you a cheeky 10% off store-wide, basically.
Do it. Well,
Not bad. It's not half
it's
bad.
not bad. While you've got your trolley full.
Yeah. Did you
Especially
manage
if you're
to...
buying a complete bike, right? If you're buying a group set and everything else, it's a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money off.
Absolutely adds up. Okay, it's the Wheelhouse podcast. Hank Vogels is in the house. Catherine Ambassador Bates is here as well. Now,
Thank
let's talk about fatigue. We're all a little bit tired. It's only February.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to have
whiz.
a nap. Is that all right?
Yeah. You know those days where you wake up and you're like, I'm keen. My body's telling me I just want to get into it, but my mind is just saying hit snooze and hit it again and hit it again and hit it again and hit it again. There's some new research out around this, Catherine.
There
the
is.
downside.
I find this really interesting. So what they're saying, we all kind of know anecdotally, but when you're mentally fatigued, you physically don't perform as well. I mean, we all think that's the case, but now they've actually got studies that show it. And the way that they tested it was they got their test subjects to either chill out for half an hour before they then did some strength tests, or to read news and keep their minds quite busy. And the people who chilled out performed better in the strength test than the people whose mind was a little bit more stressed. And this seems like, no shit, Sherlock. But actually to have studies around this, now if you think about your athletes and you see them doom scrolling before a race, you legitimately know that they won't perform as well. So what's the fine line between the riders being robots versus in peak condition?
Well, I already know that most DSs are trying to ban phones.
Is that right?
At certain points of, especially on a stage race at dinner tables. I know that's a big one. At dinner tables, it's like, which is good. I think that's great. It's for socially that you're sitting on a phone while you're eating dinner. That's so rude anyway. But I know that some teams are trying to get away from that, and having them, kind of visualize a bit more and not be, checking the messages from, 6 people who are trying to buy the bike off you or something. That drives you nuts.
You've had a tough 24 hours. And on that note, I mean, in the Beckham documentary, they were talking about how the wives aren't allowed in camp for the 24 hours before Super Bowl. Taylor Swift went back to LA because she couldn't be with Travis Kelce for the 24 hours before the Super Bowl. So it's becoming pretty normal that they try and keep them as low stress as possible. And that's not just for the feeling; it's actually for the physical performance.
Yeah, I'm glad it's been proven.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
Because before it was like, oh, you're just a dinosaur. What do you know? It's like, hang on, let me just, there you go, just click that link. Oh, hang on his phone right before the race, not before the race, but when they're at home, 100%.
But it is interesting. You're right, because otherwise they could just say, oh, you're trying to police us and we're adults, we can make our own decisions. But actually, no. If you're being paid to perform and there's something they know really negatively affects your performance, then as the employer...
Well, you just said the word there, employer.
You're within your rights to say...
General managers and DSs know what they're doing because they've been doing it for longer than these kids have been alive, right?
Well, you can't be on a production line at the Red Bull factory and scrolling your phone.
No, well, no.
So
listen to you, couple of boomers, eh?
Yeah,
wow.
Bloody kids.
What would Geraint Thomas say?
Flying planes and looking at their phone.
Listen to you now.
Scrolling on bloody TikTok. More on that in a minute.
Proud to be a boomer.
Speaking of.
I do have an official read here, Catherine. And to prove that I'm not
please.
making it up, you can get a shot of it here, Merckxy, as a read, a couple of paragraphs there. Lovingly compiled, of course, from a number of sources. So a new study, Sports Sciences for Health, the effects of mental fatigue on 12 strength-trained individuals, so it could be any of us doing that. 2 strength endurance tests in a bench press. Now, they had to perform a 30-minute cognitive task before it or sit quietly doing nothing for 30 minutes. So a cognitive task like what? Reading, writing, doing something like just thinking, basically, or sitting there daydreaming. And I love this because I love a good daydream. I just love it so much. And we know that mental fatigue may have a greater ripple effect, blah, blah, blah. There's so many studies. BMC Neuroscience has noted that mental fatigue can lead to difficulty concentrating, decreased alertness. We know that. We just go out and get a large coffee, but it's very true. You can't work as efficiently. And we all want to work as efficiently as we can. Don't we, Kate?
We do.
We certainly do. Another study, Frontiers in Psychology, says that the effects of mental fatigue can persist for at least 20 minutes. Reaction time is slowed down due to that fatigue condition, but gradually improved over time. But this one I love. In addition to reducing mental fatigue, bouts of daydreaming can not only improve your cycling performance overall, but according to human brain mapping research, says it can strengthen brain connections and boost your creativity as well. So you're on the bike, not only are you concentrating by having a daydream, you're coming up with a story or something as well. You're writing a screenplay, you're coming up with a doco, and you're winning races, according to this research.
I have a good daydream.
I've simplified the research, but it's pretty cool.
Daydreamer.
I love it because there's so much pressure and so much noise, but it's like maybe you can just check out and just chill and stare at the horizon.
What did you say, mate? I was just daydreaming.
I think
now you're going to win. Basically, now you're going to win. Yes.
I think in summary, they're going to rip out the comfy seats on the bus.
Yes.
And put in hammocks.
Wout van Aert will be like, yeah, no seat. I love it.
And get, oh my God.
I win the Wout mention this week.
Thank you. I think it's time to move on.
Anyway, interesting research. Now, oh, hang on. Sorry. Got some breaking news here. We're going to go back to the bunker inside the bunker. Merckxy, something's going down. What can you tell us? This must be serious.
I was daydreaming. It's about Remco?
Yes.
Yeah, Remco. Remco is on TikTok.
Thanks, Merckxy. Okay, after the break, we will go to the weather.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
So is Joe Biden.
And we rehearsed that too.
What?
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. This is why I keep saying we are not a news service.
Is that like a community service announcement? Remco is on TikTok.
Get
Time
on
to
board.
move on.
Good news, TikTokers.
So's Joe Biden now. But anyway, Remco. Yeah.
I'm just going to shamelessly take a moment here to say hello, Remco, because I know that you're listening and watching because you got involved with some of our social media earlier in the week.
He did.
And didn't block us.
No, look, he told us at Wollongong that he was a fan. I asked him directly and he said,
Massive
I'm a
fan.
listener.
He's like, I love the what house?
I love
yeah.
the...
Yep. We love Strava Art here on the Wheelhouse. Merckxy has completed several rocket ships around Brisbane, but I think you've been outdone by a couple of French cyclists, Merckxy. So I love this. Just a gentle 2,196 kilometre mission, Kate. And this will be close to your heart,
How
of
many?
course.
It is.
Here, we've got it here.
2,196 kilometres, Hank, in 10 days. And they drew the ceramic ball bearings.
No.
From,
No, it's the Olympic rings. Oh, my.
It's a pizza cutter.
it's the Olympic rings in Paris. It's beautiful. It is.
Well, don't you seriously? You're probably going to have to edit this, but if you're going to do that, why don't you just do a big penis?
Whoa! Wow.
Or a rocket ship, yeah.
Well,
That would be way cooler than that.
You know what I love about
You're
it,
going
though?
to do that.
Honestly.
Or,
Big
I mean,
penis.
there's a
if it was a lady, would they be doing a giant penis or a giant vulva?
Oh, my
Yes,
goodness me.
I know. We just said that twice.
Anyway,
yeah.
look, oh, Hank.
They've basically ridden the distance from Paris to the surfing venue for Paris 24, let's be honest.
They have.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, hang on.
essentially.
Kate has the Olympic
Now-
rings tattooed on her body.
I do.
I'm glad.
I do.
I'm glad it's not a rocket ship, Kate.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. You have thoughts?
I'm
That's
done.
that's
I'm
Merckxy's.
out. Oh,
You're
no.
out?
done?
No, now, it beat the record.
What record?
I'm being sabotaged here. The last record was 2,162 kilometres. And that, guys, to bring it back to some normalcy, was a love heart.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a love heart, and that was by a father-daughter duo. And Hank, I'm pretty sure that I know why the father-daughter duo didn't
Do
draw
that. Yeah.
a rocket ship. They went for a heart
Do you call it a rocket
instead.
ship?
That we were trying to be subtle.
Oh,
And
Hey-
you
okay.
took-
Sorry, I'm
Hank
not that
Vogel's
subtle.
Australian cycling legend is sitting here going, love heart, what a waste of time and
Anyway,
effort. What are they doing?
Oh, I'm a boy. Come on. I'm
Oh
still
my
a boy.
God.
I love that too with the
Alright.
record because they've slapped another 30 kilometres onto that record. You could have just beaten it by one or two, couldn't you?
yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
You must have so much time on your hand to do
Right.
that.
I think we can
Really?
wrap
This is
this
them.
up.
Look,
I've
there they
got
are. Look.
You got stuff to do. All good. It's the Wheelhouse podcast. Kate, really, really quickly, you have a new segment. It's Kate's Ride of the Week. What do you got for us, Ambassador?
I do. Look, we've gone for... In here we have the Wheel of Misfortune and what I call the Ride of the Week, like the play of the day. You see where I'm going with this? And it's at the Classica de Almeria, and there was a very tight finish. Now, there was a stack at the end where Manuel Penalva... he looked to be in pretty bad shape. So one of the riders from Intermarché, Wanty, Adrien Petit, he stopped and he got off his bike before the finish line and he sat with him until the medics arrived, talking to him and keeping him calm and not finishing the race.
Nice.
Not even caring about the race until a rider from another team got the help he needed. And I thought that deserved our Ride of the Week.
Yep.
Does
That-
deserve the ride of the week.
To bring it full circle,
That's
Geraint Thomas,
fantastic.
that is respect.
That is respect. That's etiquette right there.
Yes.
Yes. Keep it going. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Probably inspired by Pog and cousin Jonas in the tour the other year with a little bit of...
Oh, yeah,
mate.
a little bit of off the road action.
I'm going to win fair and square. That's etiquette and
Yes.
respect. This is the Wheelhouse podcast. It's episode 81. We might be back for episode 82. I don't know yet. We'll see. Henk Vogel's legend. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I hope I'll try to behave myself next time.
Oh,
I'm glad you bought
know
your
that's
bike
not
today
gonna happen.
because that rocket ship's at least a 50-kilometre commitment telling you from experience. Just
Are
saying.
you actually throwing the gauntlet out?
Can you? Would you? Good sunny coast of Brisbane.
I've
back.
started something now, haven't
You
I?
have. Merckxy will map it for you.
Get the team to do it.
I know
Hank.
he will.
Oh, the team.
Yeah, plot the team.
I don't think our sponsors would be too stoked.
No,
You can do a relay where nobody really knows what
A
they're
relay?
doing. Well, yeah, so like, hey,
how do you-
Izzy Carnes, you just need to draw a circle. And
Oh.
you just need to draw a straight line. And, like they all do their one little bit.
Can be kind of weird asking young
Yeah.
ladies in the
Yeah.
team to do that.
Well,
Can we edit that out?
if
Can we,
NASA's a
can we
sponsor,
not? Can we
you
not
could have
ask?
a rocket ship.
no, we're not asking.
We are not asking
No,
Izzy
we're not-
Carnes
no,
to be
we're
part
not-
of
not
this.
doing that.
It is the men's
right.
team only.
Okay.
Now I'm getting sacked.
Love
Both
Izzy.
of us.
Love
Great.
Izzy. She's
Anyway, I hope you've
lovely
enjoyed it.
young lady.
I'm
been-
so sorry, Papa Carnes. I'm so sorry.
It's been a lot of fun, 81 episodes, and thank you so much for your support along the way.
And sorry to drag you down.
Anyway,
81st.
Ambassador, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Highness, thank you.
Grazie.
Merckxy, you're a legend. We'll get you on the next top 50. Until next time, like, share, subscribe, tell everyone you know. Brought to you by bikebug.com. It's the Wheelhouse Podcast. Au revoir. What the was that?